IVM.
TFG Football is an IVM production, and you can also check out their other awesome shows like Made in India, hosted by May Thomas, where she brings exclusive acoustic sessions and interviews with the best independent musicians in India.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome guys, it's a new episode of the TFG Football Podcast, and it's a new day, a new week, and a great weekend of footballing action we saw. Well, first of all, we have to talk about this match, this I-League game that happened on Saturday between East Bengal and Churchill Brothers. If you guys remember, indeed you remember very well, but we were previewing this. We had a great joke and laugh about it, but Churchill just proved us wrong. And they came close. From the end, it looked like this was a 2-all draw. But things changed. The luck favored East Bengal towards the end, and Plaza got his goal, the winning goal. Now I have Kevin and Chiranjeev joining us. Kevin, I'll start with you. A great match, and finally we see Churchill fight here, right?
Yeah, definitely. The way Churchill approached the game, I think that's how a team which is struggling, the team which is lacking confidence should be doing. Take the game to East Bengal, and they did just that. They did not want to sit back and just take in the pressure, and they created some chances. I think they were a bit unlucky not to have scored a couple of goals more than what they actually did. I think Nicholas Fernandez on the left-hand side was absolutely tremendous. Hard work put in by him. But again, those small points where you have process coming in, you need more numbers in the box. Those are the points that I think that Churchill out. Khalid Jamil, the trust that he's put in Plaza, is it staying off? What the strikers that was part of the last team did not do so well, and he brought him back. Now, what confidence does one manager should show in a player who's not been doing so well in the past season, and you bring him back just to make sure that things will be working differently. And what he does is he delivers last-minute goal, end-to-end. And I think towards the end, it really looked like it was heading towards a 2-2 draw, but it just matches that 1 point away from 2 points away from Churchill. I think we couldn't have asked for a better game to start off the weekend with. But the way Churchill has progressed in this game really shows the sign of improvement, and things that are working for Churchill. I think they'll just get better.
Right. So I think Chiranjeev here, just a disclaimer, guys, we are once again due to various reasons couldn't be in the studio, so we are recording at our respective places. So if you hear any disturbance, apologies for the same. Yes, Chiranjeev. Now coming to you, East Bengal. What happened? I mean, such big teams get caught up with teams like Churchill who are not doing well.
Yeah.
And here, almost 2-all draw, ending up sharing a point.
Yeah, same thing Shillong Lajong did to Mohun Bagan. So when these teams sort of get pushed to the back of the hill, they are not going to just sit there. They're going to try things and attempt to spoil the big team's party. This was a little bit of a disappointing outing, I think, for the East Bengal defense. The first goal, come on, man! I think somebody should have spotted Vaz. And then the second goal was pretty good by Fernandez, but it seemed like you should have your best defenders out there. Sometimes you do need the experience of Arnab a little bit back. I think the way Arnab was being played a little bit forward from the usual defensive line, it was a little bit of a strange thing to see the way he was used. But of course, even though East Bengal conceded 2 goals, they were looking very different in terms of attack. Plaza was not just poaching the goals; he was also producing some really good balls for others. The first goal that Ralte scored, The assist came from Plaza. And it seemed like there was an improved synergy between Katsumi and Plaza, and moving Katsumi to the right wing completely paid off. And you see why most of his time in Mohun Bagan, Katsumi played in the right wing. He can really give trouble to a particularly dense team in the central defense. I think Osaje was doing pretty well out there. He should have put a better tab on Plaza, and could have been a double marker on him by Kalu and Osaje. But I think Alfred Fernandez thought that he's not doing that well also, so let's just focus on cutting off the balls towards him. But didn't work out. I think Katsumi was further aided by Maitei not being so well as the left wing back. So he got subbed pretty early, right? He got injured or something. See, the Churchill is still finding their place. Okay, it's like they are trying this and trying that, and if they put some extra effort on the front, they're gonna get a couple of extra goals. But at the same time, just switching things around may sometimes leave them vulnerable in the back. So you can see that the squad is being worked out, but because they're doing it on the job, they're producing results like this, where they're holding on for most of the time, but they lost at the last minute. So this is going to happen a few times before it becomes better.
Right, absolutely. Now, just moving on, just mentioning what happened on Friday. Neroka played their first home match against Chennai City, and a great crowd turned around at 2 p.m. and we're not surprised at all about it. Neroka was the better team, and they got 2 goals in their favor. It was 2-1 win against Chennai City. And it was a great match, but it was almost a one-sided affair unless Chennai City put up a fight in the first half, but they missed the penalty. It was a great save by the keeper. All of that happened on Friday. Now moving on to the ISL fixture that took place between Delhi and Goa. Delhi are still struggling. I think I don't think you should call them anymore Churchill of I-League, because Churchill have improved. Delhi are still the same. But FC Goa, I mean, I remember when both of you all, I asked you all about the goals, and were like, one said 2 goals to either side, the other guy said 1 goal. This is again, I mean, FC Goa deals in 5 goals, mate. I mean, that's how it looks like now. Kevin, coming to you.
What was happening in that game? Delhi were playing so well in the first half, and all of a sudden, towards the end of the half, I think just at the additional time that was added, they completely switched off. 2 mistakes, 2 goals, and just the game was just turned on its head. Delhi could have really made a good comeback in the second half with that effort that they were going in the first half. But they couldn't just continue what they did from the first half to the second half, and adding to more misery was the tackles that were flying in. Yes, there was a bit of talk about tackles coming in, but I felt FC Goa were more on the receiving end than Delhi. I don't know where the complaint is. Obviously, the refereeing standards has been consistently inconsistent, but that's the way it's been happening from season 1. There's no difference in that. So I think, let alone the refereeing decision, I think Delhi have just themselves to blame here. FC Goa is just they're on the roll. There's nothing that can stop. But I feel the end for them is very near. They will crumble to pressure. They will crumble to sides like Delhi, who can be a little more consistent than what they actually were that evening. Just going by how Delhi played, I finally getting the fixed players in the team right. Changte again we saw coming in as a second half substitute. So it's okay to get a player who started off well in the first game to a late part of the game. But Kalu Oche, I don't think he was the most impressive in the game. Cicero just, brought some bad things to Delhi with his second yellow card. I think there was no problem with the yellow card that were received, but I felt the referee was, trying to be balancing out his decisions where he felt, where he must have thought he made a wrong decision. But FC Goa was just too strong. It's not easy to stop a side that's so committed to going forward and scoring. The mistakes that were happening from the backline of Delhi Dynamos, I think any other side would have taken much, much longer to score goals. But FC Goa with Lanzarote, Arana, Koro, they're on their toes every time they get the ball. I think they would just take 2 or 3 touches to find the ball at the back of the net. So I think it's all there for the teams to find this out and stop the feeding of the balls to these guys, and maybe play a more fluid midfield rather than trying to use the wings more, and you open up your central defense to such fast sides. You really have to close the gaps between players, and they're just so easy to find for FC Goa at the moment. So these things have to be planned, and frustration is increased from bad decisions, and you have the coach also being sent up from the sideline. It's just showing that things are not working right for Delhi at the moment, and they're just going from bad to worse.
Well, now, coming to Chiranjeev, now, I don't know why. None of the teams are invincible. They will have a bad form and they will lose. Given their day, they will come emerge as victories as well. But here, looking at FC Goa, they're on a good run. They did stumble in between, but once again, they've bounced back, and now they're only, like I said, dealing with 5 goals or more than 3 goals. And once you have players like Koromila and Lanzarote going in, they just seem unstoppable. So why will it wishing that this team, one day they will, eventually it may or may not happen. We've also seen teams, a longer winning streak, but this FC Goa team looks like a team to beat just from the start, right?
Yeah, the way they have held themselves up in the last 3 matches, it seems like they've hit the right spot. How long they will be able to continue it is the question. But right now, it's the start of the season. The players are fresh. They're using their full might. They've made some good signings, and it just is. And you come across a team like Delhi Dynamos. They just it was a case of losing the game in their mind beforehand, because they were not doing so bad in the first half. Just surrendered. And the Delhi defense just surrendered, and that's a very sad thing to see on a football pitch. You can't really bring yourself up like that against a team that's gunning for the top of the table. So yeah, it's a pretty. It was a dreary sight, especially if you're a Delhi Dynamos fan. I just don't know what they can do at this point. 4 back-to-back defeats. Bottom of the table now. Even ATK are turning things around. Maybe they will, find something right. But looking at them now, it's just hard to imagine what it will be. Right.
Now, things go at times in your favor, and if they don't, then that's how it happens. And if it's not your day and you're playing against FC Goa, this is what happens. You just get hammered around their good performance. Now, we slip in a short break. We have 2 matches to review, which we will do in short, because one team lost. They lost at home, and the other got a first win away from home. And we also have 2 highly interesting Northeast derby to review for tonight. And that's all of that on the other side of the break.
We're from the Daily Pow, a Bombay-specific food and culture website, and we have a weekly podcast called The Powdcast.
That's Pow with an O, not with a V.
Why is it with an O and not with a V when most people spell Pow with a V?
Because it's Pow, not Pav.
And some people also spell it with a U.
Like Pau, like feet.
Yeah.
Like Pau Lagu.
Yeah, like Pau Lagu. So weird. To listen to more of us and what we have to say about the city and its culture and its food, listen to the Powdcast every week on IBM Podcasts.
Welcome back, guys. And like I said, we have two matches to look at here. Bengaluru FC were the team that suffered defeat at their home turf, and while ATK got their first win of the season away from home. Now, looking here at Bengaluru's game, there were a few, like we always mention. I mean, if you talk about the refereeing in this season, it just gets worse by every season. So it got even more bad, and particularly in this match, and also in the game between ATK and Mumbai City. But talking about here, Chennai look like a better team, and I think it's time that Bengaluru FC, I mean, like I mentioned in the first half of this show also, no team is invincible. They will have, if it's a bad day, they will lose. And Bengaluru did not give their best, I would say, against Chennai FC. So, Kiran, coming to you, Chennai were a better side on the field, right?
Yeah, definitely. I did not see Bengaluru FC turn up with the same fervor. They did try their best, but a couple of chances that they created, especially Sunil Chetri early on, a finish was pretty lacking. Chennai FC really put in their hard time. Their first goal was a little bit lucky, I thought, the way JJ got it. It was deflected back to where JJ was, and he scored it. But since then, they kept Bengaluru FC under pressure. They kept most of the ball, created better chances, and they were denied a penalty towards the end of the first half when JJ was brought down inside the Bengaluru FC box. We saw Pune City outplay Bengaluru FC in the last game, but that only lasted one half. But this one was much better. This was consistently for 90 plus minutes. Bengaluru FC were being outplayed, and you had the referee. I think the reason the players lost it, and in the end there was that scuffle and semi brawl between two sets of players, was because of the referee's weakness. He was making wrong calls. Right. He was having trouble controlling the situation. Towards the end, there were scuffles or whatever, and he was trying to control the place. Nobody was paying attention to him because they had lost respect for him because of so many wrong calls. So yeah, that's what happens. You do one mistake, two mistakes, suddenly the game is no longer in your control. And it was pretty hard to watch because you want a game like this to be well managed. You want it to be clean. You want it to be strictly officiated, because these teams have been building up for how long? Like ever since Chennai FC came into being, they've been they've been exchanging words with Bengaluru FC. It's like 3 years in the making. So finally it's happening. And how can you give them an officiating like this? So all of that sort of spoiled it. Bengaluru FC tried. I think they even hit the post early on and all of that. See, you can say that if this had gone their way, that had gone their way, things could have been different. But in the end, if you hit the post, that's your fault. If you don't get a penalty, if certain key decisions go against you, that's not your fault. That's the referee's fault. And I thought Chennai FC got the worst of it. They were the ones who were getting the bad decisions going against them. Still they won. So a well-deserved win. And all the props to Chennai FC, all the props to Super Machans who turned up at Kantirawa. This is going to be one night to remember for them, and the birth of a beautiful rivalry, I think.
Yeah, and a great goal from Dantan Galesh. I think Rene, if I'm not wrong, he the guy who took the free kick, and beautiful shot and headed well inside the net for Chennai FC.
And how awesome is that Dhanpal Ganesh is the one who got it. He's from Tamil Nadu.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming to you, Kevin, talking about Mumbai City and ATK, we thought Mumbai will continue their home run here, but it didn't happen so. But Chiranjeev's wish has come true, as the first of the 20 goals has been scored by Mumbai. Yay! and that's what happened for ATK. But we also saw some players, I mean, Robbie Keane played, Robin Singh played, there were other guys, Ryan Taylor made his debut in ISL, all of that. And here, how do you look at this one goal win for ATK and the first win for them?
Yeah, and I think the wish of Chiranjit almost, did not come true when the goal was not awarded to Robin Singh in the first place. And then Zakir's name was withdrawn, and then Robin Singh got the goal. But this is what happens when you keep trying and not give up. Irrespective of the effort and the resultant performances. This is something which other teams should be learning. So when things are not going your way, you don't stop trying out things, because we've not seen ATK get a team that's that's suited for every game. They haven't found that core as yet, and this is exactly where we should be getting lessons from. We've seen Kerala Blasters also coming into a similar position, but ATK here, I think they were fantastic just by the resilience that they came into this game and just stuck in there. That's what is needed for every team. Stick in there, you will get the results. You keep trying your combinations. One point at a time, you will get it right. One goal is not a big margin, but I think the confidence from the way they played against Mumbai City is, I think, what is going to take them at least a couple of games like this. Will just have them come back into the league. And being defending champions obviously has double pressure to them. So whatever they do, every question is being asked. Will you be able to defend the title? Are you going out of the league, in the first half of the league itself? So getting there and sticking there is what ATK needed to do. Zekiya was good. I felt, at times there were some shifts made by Mumbai City manager as well. I think that's okay. At home, when you have been called as a strong team, having a 100% record, somewhere things we've seen this weekend. It's a weekend of inconsistency. What teams have been doing, I think, only except the exception for FC Goa, everybody else just have been a bit of it's caused an upset everywhere. ATK also was going in the same direction, but they too managed to cause an upset. Yes, things will change. I think it's FC Goa, the only team that remains that's gone beyond everybody's expectation. But there will be a time that they will also stop their run, and it will come in a way that everybody will be shocked. I will be looking forward to that, because that just makes the excitement level even more higher in the league.
Yeah. Yeah, now, certainly, there was again a wrong decision taken here, a decision not given. Mumbai City probably had a chance to equalize or probably share a point from this match, and can you take us through that penalty not being given?
Yeah, it was a penalty. You could just see that this was a clear foul inside the box, and although ATK were the better team, they deserved the win in that sense. But towards the end, if the losing team gets denied a penalty, that means you're just changing the outcome of the game with a mistake, right? And that takes away from this such an improved performance. After in the previous game they lost, but they played their best football, and this time they introduced Ryan Taylor, they introduced Robin Singh up there. Robbie Keane also turned up. The 3 R's for ATK did so well and turned their fate around. And towards the end, Mumbai City get denied a penalty. And how is that fair in any way to either team, right? It kind of reminded me of that Bengaluru FC's trip to Istiklal, where Istiklal definitely were the more dangerous team, but Bengaluru FC got denied a penalty towards the end. And see how much of a difference that makes. That completely changed the return leg. Bengaluru FC had to make themselves vulnerable and go out and attack from the beginning. Had that not been the case, maybe they could have played differently and snuck out a win. So all of these things matter in the long run. These are 3 points valuable for the ATK. They will be cherishing this. You could see the way the players were celebrating. Prabir was hugging Devjit. It was like, they had just found, they look like, those, kya bolte hain, those, science fiction movies. They have those scientists who just try the same experiment 200 times and it fails, and finally in one case it succeeds, and they just hug themselves with relief and joy and all that stuff. So it looked like that, the scenes at the end. ATK, of course, have a good record in Mumbai Football Arena. They're continuing it. Good for them. The league will get more interesting if they start winning. But that leaves you wondering, whether or not the league is being its best when you have refereeing decisions actually spoiling a game. So I mean, it needs to be looked at this point, because this weekend it has been exceptional. You see bad refereeing and you see this. Come on, and collectively all the referees can't be losing their minds at the same time.
Absolutely. Now let's move on. There's a long, extensive review of matches. Just to mention, even Kerala got their win at home against Northeast United, and a great combination between Rino Anto and CK Vinith, who got the goal. So there's a great atmosphere at the Kochi Stadium for the fans as well as the team. Now let's move on. We have a Northeast Derby happening tonight. It's today at 2 p.m. Kickoff, and Aizawl FC playing at home against Shillong Lajong. Now, Kevin, I'll start with you here. Defending champions versus their neighbors who almost, gave them a tough chance to lift the trophy last season. Now, it's a new team. Both the sides have new faces, new coaches, but the dream still remains the same. So, what are your thoughts about and expectations from this match?
I am a Shillong Lajong enthusiast, but I think Aizawl FC has a smarter team here. Just going by the way they can shift changes in between the game, Shillong Lajong haven't been that kind of a team which has shown the maturity, because obviously they have lost the players that made a difference last season, and I think they are still far ahead, still far from getting to that position this season. Aizawl FC do look very strong in this regard, because against Mohun Bagan, yes, they put up a fight which showed that they can come back. They can hold on to good strong teams. But Aizawl FC are totally different from individual players like Mohun Bagan team, because here from the back itself you have problems that are being caused. Alfred Jarian is the guy who can just change the way things flow for Aizawl FC. His strong tackles are going to be tough for Shillong Lajong to catch hold of, and it makes a difference. When you compare a team like Shillong Lajong who can just be fast paced and ball exchanges are quicker. Aizawl FC aren't that way. They can use your wings. They can even draw players towards themselves. And that's where I think will make this game will turn on its head. I hate to say this, but this looks like a one-sided affair for Aizawl FC, and I probably might not see any goals from Shillong Lajong.
Okay, currently the first Northeast Derby of the season. You're expecting?
Yeah, is it a derby? I don't. Well, 400 kilometers, between the two cities. I don't think it's a derby. You can call it a derby, just like Bengaluru FC and Chennai FC was being called a derby. So, go ahead.
Last season, called it. You yourself called it a Northeast Derby, so I continue to try.
Yeah, I'm giving up actually at this point. It's like this is a derby, that is a derby. Oh my goodness. At some point the propaganda breaks your brain, and you're like, okay. Chalo, derby.
Yeah, let's talk about the match now.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's going to be one-sided. Shillong Lajong always put up a lot of fight when they visit Aizawl, and vice versa. These two have a very competitive rivalry going on. It's not bitter, or it's not like it doesn't have any animosity, but they just turn up on the pitch against each other. They want the bragging rights. Aizawl FC won last season in this fixture. and they are looking pretty good. They got the first win. They have been not playing matches for a while because of MPL. They came back. They got a win against Churchill Brothers. Shillong Lajong, much better team. They can be much diverse with their attack, much better in the midfield. It's gonna be a tight contest, and if it's a win for Aizawl FC, it's gonna be a 1-goal win. I think I'm just looking at it, and it's looking at like 2-1 to me. But of course, by the time that this podcast is gonna come out, it's gonna be almost match time, and most people will be hearing right after hearing this after the match is over. So if I'm wrong, go ahead, curse me in the comment section.
Well, even I'm still sticking with saying no goals from Shillong here.
No, I see. There is a chance that they might score, but the feeling is there that Aizawl FC are too strong for Lajong. We've seen better contests in the past, but this one doesn't seem like one of those.
Yeah, it's a bit of a look. It's a bit of a the way Aizawl FC have been playing so far. It's very hard to judge them completely because they have not been fully tested yet. Just 2 matches. Others have played more games. But yeah, you can't deny that they stole a point from East Bengal away, and they're one of the 3 unbeaten teams still remaining in the league. So yeah, I think they're gonna win.
Well, great thoughts then. That brings to the final game. So we look at the second kickoff today at 8 p.m. between Minerva and Indian Arrows. Now we saw these two play at Indian Arrows home ground, where Minerva Punjab emerged winners. Now this is Minerva's home ground. So
क्या है? Like it's दोनों को, like just now they played. Why are they playing again?
Yeah, I mean, their home and away is done.
Yeah, क्या हो रहा है? It's like वो पंजाब में अरे यार अभी से चलो यार क्या है अभी you're getting good flight ticket prices because there's not much rush. So let's अभी कर लेते हैं. हाँ बाद में पता नहीं क्या होएगा. So it's like man. Some relative visited our house, so we have to go back and visit their house also. It's like, looks like a formality. Don't do fixtures like this.
Well, coming to you, Kevin, about the match, how do you look at this game? Do you look at once again a one-sided affair from Minerva Punjab, or do we see Matters playing his games, mind games after the match, saying that whatever he said after the first match?
Nah. It wasn't mind games. It was just pure some sort of frustration that was had, and he had to say something. It came out like
I think he needs a break. He's been immediately appointed as the I-League, playing in the I-League after Under-17 World Cup. So I think it
seemed that they almost forgot. These rules are there in place for every league, and having foreigners is your choice. So that was a simplistic that I couldn't make out from his statement. It was more of an excuse. But this game, it will be talked about a lot. Players from one team have gone to another team, will not be allowed to play because they're loaned out, and some stars really hoping to make it big. Middle of Punjab with all the foreigners, does the Indian Arrows even stand a chance against this side? I doubt. This will be a strong side, a strong team. Indian Arrows will have to play on tactics rather than the potential of the game. Probably, try to look at ways to cut down Chencho on the left wing. But we've seen in the past, he does not stick to one wing. He's just floating around the ground. He's one wing at one time, and the next moment he's back in the defense, helping out his pressure players. He's one guy, who's difficult to man mark. Zonal marking is even more difficult because. Their left back, I'm very impressed by Ambekar. I think Chiranjeev will also agree. He's really one of the players that is shining out in the I-League, young players.
Yeah.
He's making some good overlap runs, and that just makes the job of the defense of Indian Arrows difficult because you've got some player, you're looking at one, and you have another player coming in from the back and just making some good runs. Some good balls are being put in from that left back position. It's just difficult to stop a team that's using their wing backs. So if Indian Arrows decide to go defensive, I think it has to be more compact in the midfield first, rather than just playing defensive, trying to contain or play on counter-attacks. It's got to be more compact. Deny them that space, deny them that overlapping runs. Just try to keep the ball more as possible, and then obviously you will get the results. One mistake from the back line of Minerva, you snatch that and just finish it with one or two strikers that are playing right at the edge of the defense of Minerva.
Right. So do you see Minerva making that one mistake where the Indian Arrows can take it from there?
No, not gonna happen. It's gonna be even if they make one mistake, they're gonna have enough time to make up for it. So I'd say I see multiple goals from Minerva. It's gonna be a win for Minerva. Unless I get proven wrong again, which won't be the first time. But I just don't see Indian Arrows getting this one.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show, and I hope you enjoyed this extensive match review and previews of the games. Clearly looks like FC Goa has taken over everyone, and in I-League it looks even more interesting now. Let's see how tonight's games go by, and then we'll see how all the teams stand. Now, that's all, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, then like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the bell icon so we update us on new episodes. Let us know your thoughts about all these matches in our comment section below. Also, hit the bell icon so we can update us on new episodes. Now, if you want to talk to us, you can do that directly. We are on Twitter, Chiranjeev Kevin Suji 94. Follow the TFG Football Twitter handle to get all the updates about Indian football, and also you can hear about all these matches and games, whatever you want to know, on our website, thefranchisers.com. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy and come back to us.
That was Tantrik Steve from Hansraj College, Delhi, performing at IIT Bombay's Mood Indigo. Just like them, there's a lot of new talent and art coming out of colleges all across India, but unfortunately most of this goes completely unnoticed or ignored. To fix this, we started atkt.in. Hi, I'm Ankur, I'm a musician and a rapper, and I found that one of the best things about being an artist myself is finding new talent. Through atkt.in, Tanya, my colleague who's a dancer, and our whole team really is putting all of our efforts into discovering and promoting all the coolest talent that's coming out of colleges all across India. And this goes up on our website, our social media, TV, radio, and now, of course, this podcast with IVM. Make sure you go to our website, support the talent with your likes, your shares, your comments. All of that really matters. Go ahead, check it out. atkt.in.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. Sorry to say, but there's been a slight delay due to the apocalypse having suddenly begun. As you can see, there's death, destruction, and chaos taking place all around us. But don't you worry, food and drinks will be served shortly, and I would recommend checking out
IVM Podcasts
to get some of your favorite Indian podcasts. We'll keep you going till this whole thing blows over. Thank you.